Hey guys, another little update video on recent work that's been done to the car. On the last video I think I mentioned the fact I had a coolant leak at the back of the timing cover. I put that in to have done at Pilgrim Motorsports in Henfield. So new timing cover, gasket, new water pump gaskets, new water pump divider plate, stainless steel one, it's all been clearanced. There's some aluminium sleeves that go through the back of the timing cover inside. Some rubber seals, replace those. The thermostat, I had that changed to 180 degree thermostat while it was all in being flushed anyway. I thought I'd just change that. New clamps again on hoses as they've been off again, but yeah, generally just sorting out that annoying coolant leak that I had. So while it was in as well, I don't know if I mentioned on the last video, I had a radiator leak as well around the neck of the radiator, and I looked at potentially getting it reconditioned. But I decided against that for now, and I went for one of the aluminium cold case radiators. So that was fitted at the same time. I've actually just ordered, because I forgot to order them at the time, with some like rubber mounting brackets, top and bottom, and the original ones are a bit loose for the cold case. So I've ordered some cold case specific ones. I've done the top ones now because it was just the radio was a little bit loose in there, so I've done the top. I've just got to do the bottom ones, but I've actually decided to get myself a new fan shroud as well, so that's going to be fitted soon. The shroud that I've got on here, I have painted it before, but it's just lots of little gouges in it. It's got some little sort of feet that slide in under the radiator with the rubbers, and one of them's broken off anyway, and it's got a couple of other little splits around it where the fans obviously caught it at some point or whatever. So I thought, I'm going to put a whole new fan shroud in as well. I know it's a bit arse about face doing the rad first and then doing the shroud afterwards, but I kind of made the decision after it had been fitted that I want to change the shroud. So yeah, that's a little job to do. It was a bit annoying because I got the car back last week, and within a couple of days the petcock in the bottom of the cold case radiator started leaking, just around the thread where it goes into the rad. So I had to drain the coolant all down this week, get the tap out the rad, and it was just, I just hadn't put enough PTFE tape on it, I suppose, during manufacture. So it was bloody annoying that it was all changed and then it starts leaking a couple of days later. But I did that 4 days ago, touch wood. That's held. So yeah, I just changed that, put some more tape around it, refilled the system, took it out, bled it, took it for a drive and just bled the system. And I've got to say, to be absolutely honest, I mean, the car prior to having the new radiator and thermostat done always used to run at probably about 195 degrees. The gauge always said 210, but the gauge isn't accurate, the original gauge on the car. And when you measure it with one of these laser temperature guns, the gauge was probably about 15 degrees out. So I've never sort of worried too much about the gauge. But having had this work done now, I mean, the gauge sits considerably cooler, and checking it again with the infrared gun, it probably runs at about 185 degrees now. So it's a good 10 degrees cooler it's running. So whether that's solely down to the radiator, I didn't ask him to check actually, I should have done, to see what radiator, what thermostat was actually in the car before. I'm wondering if it had something like 190 degree thermostat in there. But with the new stat, the new radiator, I say it runs considerably cooler now, so around sort of 185, and I've noticed before that it run quite cool around town. You take it for a blap along the dual carriageway, and the temperature gauge would get up again to around the 195, taking into account the gauge not being accurate. But where this radiator, this thermostat set up now, it doesn't move up the temperature gauge at all. Now again, it sits probably around 185, even sort of sitting at 60-70 mile an hour on the dual carriageways. The temperature gauge doesn't rise at all. So I'm really pleased. Not only have I, touch wood, got no more coolant leaks, it's actually improved the cooling of the car all round. And actually driving it as it's running cooler, it might just be psychological, but I think it actually runs better running a bit cooler. It drives really nicely now. So yeah, I'm really happy with what's been done here. The new radiator, I did think about painting it black, because they have sort of manufactured it to look like the original radiator, so if you painted it black you probably wouldn't know, but I just made the decision. I thought, no, I'll leave it aluminium. I can just polish it with a bit of fine wire wool every now and then, and I'll leave it as it is. I have put the factory cap back on. The cold case one does come with just a standard rad cap, but I've put the factory one back on. So yeah, all in all, really pleased with the work that Pilgrim's done for me, and the fact that the car actually runs a lot cooler. In my opinion, is actually running better by being cooler, so really pleased with that. Like I said, I'm going to do the radiator shroud at some point, just replace that, because for me it's just one of the main things you see when you open a bonnet, and when you look at it there are, say, quite a few gouges and stuff like that in it, and the fact that one of the little feet underneath is missing, so it doesn't slide under the rubber support, or the rubber foot for the radiator. So yeah, I'm going to get that done soon. Another job that I've did, and I think again I mentioned it on my previous video, was the rear sway bar bushings. The sway bar had been wrapped with some hose pipe, so I've replaced all the bushes now with polyurethane ones. There's 6 in total. So where you've got the drop link that goes up, bolts under the chassis, you've got a bush up there, you've got the one that wraps around the sway bar itself, and then you've got the one that sits underneath the spring where the sway bar slides into. So I've replaced all of those. I haven't driven the car yet. I'll find out what it drives like when the weather's dry. At the moment it's raining, I won't take it out. But yeah, a bit of a fiddly job doing it up on axle stands. The top bushes, you sort of kind of have to drive them out with a bit of a punch and cut the bushes out and then press the new ones in. I did manage to do that with just like a bench vise. So yeah, got all those in. Also used a bit of the lube that's supplied. But so I'll see what that's like when I take it for a drive. But it's I'll show you the old ones. They were pretty worn. So these are the old bushes that sit underneath the leaf springs. And I was looking at it, my bar is actually 22 mil, which I think was 7/8. And looking at what's been fitted to the car previously, they've got 5/8 bushes on there. So I'm assuming they've been drilled out, but you can see the state of these old rubber ones. There's no longer a round hole. So you think all that slop in the bar, this one's pretty similar. So yeah, a bit of a mission getting them in. The poly bushes are just so stiff, there's not a lot of give in the bar. So yeah, I'll find out what they like when I hopefully drive it in the next couple of days. When it was in Pilgrims, I've had the exhaust done recently, but I noticed I've got a bit of a manifold leak this side, which I was aware of. The gasket's starting to break up towards the back, but sadly the manifold this side's also got a crack in it, so I'm going to have to replace them. I've spoken to a couple of people, and a couple of people said to me I'll go for headers and stuff like that, but I personally want to go for the Ram Air manifolds again. There's a couple of companies in the States that recast them, and they do them in ceramic coating now. So I've had headers before on my previous Trans Am, and yeah, they're good, but they can be a bit of a nightmare for heat soaking the starter. And I think you have to, from memory, I'll have to do something with the old oil pressure switch, because I think that'll foul the headers. So I'm going to go for Ram Air manifolds, ceramic coated ones. Personally, I think it's a genuine Ram Air car, and that was part of its identity, was those manifolds, and I'd rather keep to the authenticity of the car. I know they're modern reproductions, but they sort of keep true to the original style manifolds. I've already sort of gone round checking all the bolts, because I was a bit worried how seized they'd be in there, but touch wood, they all back off nicely. They're supposed to have some like locking tab washers on there, which aren't there, so maybe that's been a good thing, and that's why they've come loose. So I'm hoping, yeah, the driver's side looks a bit more of a challenge. Probably gonna have to get in from underneath and do that, but my first plan is get them ordered up, hopefully this side of Christmas, and then crack on with them. They actually come with bigger collectors on the outlet of the manifold as well, 2.5 inch ones, and as I've got a 2.5 inch stainless steel exhaust now, that should be a better fit where the head pipe or the down pipe connects up to the manifold. So the only snag I've got is these are the original ones, and they've got a 3-bolt flange on the passenger side, a 2-bolt flange on the driver's side, and the new manifolds are both 3-bolt flanges. So I'll have to take the front section of the exhaust off when I change the driver's side, so I can slide a 3-bolt flange on there. But so yeah, that's my plan, hopefully before Christmas, if I can get those done and get the shroud done. So it's yeah, just sort of enjoying, still tinkering with the car. It's been a bit of a money pit this year. We're doing the exhaust and the coolant leaks and now the manifolds, but it's just one of those things, and anyone who owns these old cars knows what it's like. It's just one of those things you expect, and the trouble is I'm a bit fussy and OCD, and I want everything to be right and working properly, so if anything's not right, I tend to want to get it sorted. So I'll yeah, hope you enjoyed the video and my latest update, and I'll see you again on the next one when I've done some more work and got some more updates for you. Cheers.